Dr. Akingbulu, who is Executive Director, Center for Media and Society. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. So many issues. Yes, it's like every time we hold elections and, post-election, this calls for reform of the Electoral Act, keep coming up. And then after a while, the calls seem to die off and we move on until the next electoral cycle, where we see again the issue of voter apathy and all kinds of things going on, and the distrust or mistrust of the process. Well, let's talk about some of the recommendations that have been made. 37 key proposals. First off, let me even get your view about our electoral processes so far, based on what you've been seeing, especially since the Electoral Act 2022 came on board. How much really has changed since then?
Well, let me say to start with that this effort that civil society groups have put together is not one that is likely to run out of steam.
Right.
We have worked on this for quite some time, consulting with various stakeholder institutions, and we are very, very serious. Those proposals that we have seen there, 37, they are moving straight to the National Assembly. They've just come back now, and the engagement will be thorough. We'll ensure, that we work with them to see that those things become part of our electoral framework. That's the recommendations that we're pushing. Talking about, what we have seen, yes, Edo elections, the governorship elections, civil society was there, to engage with those processes as part of its work on coming from even the 2023 elections and even the other cycle elections that we had in Imo, in Bayelsa, in Kogi. And what I can say is that there are still gaps in the conduct of in our electoral practice. We had thought, that the given the promises that we had from stakeholder institutions that Edo was going to be a kind of near perfect performance. It almost did, but it never got there. From the reports that came from the field, the process went fairly well, in the early part of the process. In the morning hours, this was still going well, accreditation, voting, and all of that. In the afternoon, yes, pockets here and there, of challenges. But when it got to collation, that was. So issue of collation, result management in our electoral process is still a big issue. Issue of voter party or voter turnout is still an issue. 4 years before now, in the governorship election there, 27% turnout was recorded. This time, just a little above 20.
Yeah.
So that's not good. It means, the thing is going down. So voter parties is a
So
big
these are
issue.
some of the gaps. Are there other key
These are some of the gaps
that you've observed so far?
Yes, some of the things, we think that the election management body, doesn't have, the strength and independence that that it requires to do its job well. Remember, this is a multi-stakeholder thing. Right. But, as a central institution in this process, it requires a more enabling environment, a legal environment. It requires being strengthened, better strengthened to be able to do its work better. These are some of the things that was.
Right, let's talk about some of the recommendations. 37 of them, key proposals for Nigeria's electoral reform. Where does this reform need to start from? Is it the unbundling of INEC? I mean, you're suggesting the creation of an electoral offences commission. That's, of course, a text of the need to unbundle INEC.
Yes.
Is that where these electoral reforms need to begin from? And
okay. Well, one of those starting points, the starting point is with the election management body, definitely, in our opinion. That's INEC. And to strengthen it, we think that, for example, appointment processes into the commission need to be reviewed We think, for example, that the chairman of the commission should be appointed in a different way. We think that some stakeholder institutions, indeed, that it should be a multi-stakeholder process, not one, where the president, just appoints and that's it. We think it should be multi-stakeholder so that the kind of candidate that's thrown up, who becomes chairperson of that place is someone, that enjoys multi-stakeholder support.
Right.
At the level of the regs, for example, many people do not know that the commission does not appoint the regs.
That's a resident electoral commission.
The resident electoral commissions, right, in the states. The commission does not even have power to discipline them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Who appoints them? The state governors? Or
no,
exactly.
Well, CX, state government, but
states,
for INEC,
right,
it's the presidency, that does that. And so you don't find 100% loyalty to the commission. Look at the case of what happened in Adamawa, for example. The way it has gone, the commission couldn't discipline.
Yeah, nothing has happened.
Yeah, so it's court, you went to court and all of that. So going forward, part of what has to be done will be that the power of appointment of regs should reside in the commission. The power of discipline should reside in the commission.
The commission as it is, or an unbundled commission?
Yes, we're coming to the unbundling. That's my next point.
Right.
The unbundling we are talking about will go in this way. One, that INEC has too much on its plate to do, to register and regulate the political parties, to conduct elections, to prosecute cases of breaches and all of that on the field. The work is too enormous. And what stakeholders are saying, what civil society is saying at this time, is that it should be unbundled in such a way that INEC as it is will just concentrate on the conduct of elections.
Right. And that's
so a different body should be in charge of registration and regulation or whatever,
right,
of political parties. A different body should be in charge of dealing with impunity, and that brings up the issue of the Electoral Offences Commission. Yeah, that has been on the cards, right, but it has slowed down. The Electoral Offences Commission should be established, and it should be made to function effectively. Absolutely,
and there will be more time to look at other key proposals, including that the INEC should go beyond PVCs as the only way of identifying
yes, indeed,
voters, saying it disenfranchises voters.
So
interesting point, but unfortunately we have to leave it here.
All right.
Dr. Akingbulu is Executive Director at Center for Media and Society, joining us on News 9.